Hey y'all, we are back with another episode of Ashani's podcast, and today I have a guest, and he's gonna introduce himself, tell y'all where he's from, tell a little bit about you, who you are, your name, where they can follow you.
For sure. So Ashani, I have to correct myself, calling you Ashanti the first time. I'm sure it's not the first time. My name is David Wagdahl. I am from Tulsa, Oklahoma. But growing up, I was an Army brat, so I grew up literally like all over. But God brought me to the greater DMV area probably about a year and a half ago. So I currently live in Rockville, Maryland. Well, Rockville, technically, they call it North Bethesda to like hike up the ramp, you know. But yeah, I live in Rockville, Maryland, and that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, where can they follow you at?
So sorry, my bad. You can follow me on TikTok at David_Wagdahl. Same thing for Instagram, David_Wagdahl. And I would spell it out for you, but I'm sure Ashani will put a link in bio or something.
Of course, it's gonna be right on the screen.
Oh, yes.
I got y'all.
All right.
But you don't have a YouTube or anything?
No, not yet. I'm not quite the hustler as you, Ashani. Maybe one day I will start a YouTube channel, but now it's just TikTok and Instagram for the time being.
Okay. And do you mind sharing your age?
Yeah, sorry, I'm 25. My bad. I was like, age. Do you want my social security number? Like, yeah, 25 years young. Although I definitely have days where I have a quarter life crisis. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But I feel like we all go through that, you know. So.
Okay, definitely. I'm 23. I go through that all the time. Like,
right? It's like,
am I on the right path? Am I on the right track? Like, okay.
No, I feel you. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, am I doing everything right? When my parents were this age, they were doing X, Y, Z.
Right. Exactly.
With time.
Definitely. Okay, so I saw in your bio that you had a couple different flags. So what's your ethnicity?
So my mom is Colombian, and my dad is he's American, but my grandparents are like German. So my grandmother on my dad's side, if you hear her, she has like a German accent. Then my mom's side, I don't really speak to them in English. But the reason I have all those flags is because my dad was a foreign area officer in the military, so we were stationed overseas.
Okay.
So he specialized in Latin America, so a lot of different countries in South America. So if you'll see, I have flags from all different nations in South America because of those are all different places that I lived at growing up.
Oh, wow. So what was your favorite place so far?
That I've lived ever in my life?
Yeah.
So,
if you had, top 3 if it's hard to pick one.
Okay, top 3. Okay, so if we're talking international, I would probably say Chile. Don't get me wrong, I don't want people to see this and be like, David, you live in this country, blah, blah, blah. No, I think Chile, what I loved about that country in particular is obviously I was a little bit older when I lived there, so I wasn't so much, I wasn't so little, like I can remember it a lot more clear, but also kind of like California that offers a lot of different nature settings. Chile's like that, where you have the mountains, you have the beach, you have the desert, you have the forest, and it's just, I love that part of that country in addition to the rich culture that they have. Now, as far as ever in my life where I've lived, I actually ended up going to college in Miami, Florida, and that place will always be near and dear to my heart. Growing up overseas and living in all these different South American countries, and then going to a place like Miami, which is a very much melting pot of Latin culture, was something that touched me very dearly and something that I was like, wow, I really, really, really love this city. I love the energy. I love the people here. Don't get me wrong, like Greater DMV is great too, and also a melting pot. I don't want to diss it here, but yes, I would say those two are probably the places that I've loved living the most.
Okay, so did you graduate from that college?
Yes, so I actually did. Funny story. So when I graduated high school, I didn't get into my dream school. I wanted to go to New York at the time. I've always been really artsy and creative, and I wanted to go to New York and study acting possibly. And then I'm like, no, let's study business, and I just didn't get into the school I wanted to go to. So I ended up doing community college in Oklahoma for 2 years.
Okay.
And I feel like that whole experience in itself really allowed me to grow and develop, as well as kind of become an adult in the sense of where do I see my life. So I was able to live at home for 2 years, which was great. I love my parents, I love my family, so they were super supportive.
Are they still back in Oklahoma?
They are, yeah, I know. I'm like, we've talked for like 10 minutes and I've already talked about like 15 places
So
I've lived
sorry.
at.
No, I definitely get you. Sorry about that, guys.
My bad. Technical difficulties. Okay, yeah, so my parents still live in Oklahoma, but I did 2 years of community college in Oklahoma. And then I was like, where do I want to go? And I decided to apply to this school called Florida International University, FIU, which is in Miami. It's the state school that's not UM, that everyone knows. I applied there, I got in, and then I really took a leap of faith. Went there, I was so scared, like every big decision in your life, but it was great. I loved every second. I love Florida, I love the beach, I love the culture. Oh, I love that place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So would you go back?
Oh, in a heartbeat. I think the issue, and there's no issues, but there's just not as many opportunities as there are here in the greater DMV area. I feel like the DMV, the cost of living is a little bit higher, and because of that, there's a lot of companies that have big offices here, which is why I came here. But you know, God willing, if I'm called to go back to Florida and an opportunity presents itself, I know I definitely won't pass it up. So.
Okay. So, if this is too personal.
No, not at all.
So, are you a Christian?
I am.
Okay.
Very
Could you
Christian.
give off that vibe? Like when I watch your stories, you mention God, and then you mention God a couple times here. So I'm like, he gotta be a Christian, like.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If that makes you uncomfortable.
Oh, no,
right?
me
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Good. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. No, I'm very much very firm in my walk. I think it's something that
I love it.
yeah, it's something that I've explored. You know, more recently when I came here, I didn't know anyone, and I got really involved in church, and it's just been really great. The blessing of community that has come with that, that me really developing in that walk. So yeah.
I love that. Okay. So with you traveling, can you speak any other languages?
Yes, so I'm bilingual in Spanish and English.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, my mom is Colombian, but growing up, before we were stationed overseas, she never really spoke to us in Spanish. And I feel like it had to do with her not wanting my dad to feel left out before he learned how to speak Spanish. So she'd always speak to us in English unless she was upset, and then the Latin blood would boil, and then she'd start speaking Spanish. So yeah, but when we started living overseas, you know, and fortunately enough for me, I was so young at the time that I could get the language pretty quickly and become fluent. I learned it, and then as I got older, my side hustle in college was not being a waiter or doing something crazy on the internet or even, you know, TikTok or content creating where you were like, that's an awesome hustle. But my side hustle is actually being a Spanish interpreter.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would go to different medical appointments, parent-teacher conferences, and interpret there. And it was awesome because, you know, it was good money in college, but also it was awesome to kind of bridge the gap in some areas of understanding, as well as get back to the community in some way.
Wait, do you still do that, or did you stop?
So now I work full time. I have like an office job, but in the business I'm in sales, and it's actually like plumbing wholesale. So I do oftentimes have to use my Spanish at work. So I don't interpret like I did back then in Oklahoma as a side hustle, but I definitely still use my Spanish pretty consistently in the work environment. So yeah.
Okay. So do you plan on staying at your current job, or like what's your overall goal?
You know, this is a question I feel like a lot of 25-year-old, 23-year-olds, everyone's like, hey, what's your plan? Like, what do you want to do? I mean, God has a plan. God's going to call me. It's what I'm meant to do. And I do enjoy my current job. It's great. You know, they treat me well. But I'm currently in grad school. So I'm getting my master's in business administration. And we'll see what opportunities come with that.
Right.
But I think when it comes to what I want to do, I feel like, well, maybe I didn't go to a prestigious school like a lot of people in this area, and I can't say, oh, I went to an Ivy, or I went to Georgetown, or I went to these different schools. I think as much as maybe I didn't go to those prestigious institutions, I am very emotionally intelligent. So I feel like whatever career I do, I want something that involves people, whether that's sales, whether that's consulting, whether that's teaching, just something that I get to work with people and use those skills that I have in the workplace. Yeah.
Interesting. You seem like you have such a giving spirit. Like you like to give back. Like, I don't know. I like that. That's nice.
Yes, I try. But I mean, I know this is podcast about me, but I want to ask you that question. What do you think you want to do?
Oh, well, actually, I just know that I'm gonna be in the industry. Like as an actress, choreographer, podcast host, like I want this to go somewhere. Well, I know it's gonna go somewhere. So that's basically the route that I'm on. So that's why I don't really have time for a 9 to 5, so that's why I don't really work one, because it's kind of hard to balance the two. But like I said, I still do my DoorDashing because gotta bring in some type of money. But yeah, so that's what I want to do.
You know, Shawnee, here's what I'll say. You DoorDash, I'm sure you DoorDash at Potbelly or Subway all the time, but life is like a sandwich. The bread always comes first. So by all means, like, go get that bread. Go get the bread.
I like that analogy. That was good. So are you just a chef for fun?
Oh.
That's not what you do for real?
No, that's not. Sorry.
Say like, oh, you want to be a chef? I'm like, whoa, that didn't even come out your mouth at all.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ashani is clearly, true fan and follows me on Instagram and sees all my cooking stuff.
Yes.
If you guys do follow me, you're gonna see that I'm definitely a clown. You know, my biggest red flag is that I'm a clown. But no, I do enjoy cooking. The whole cooking show that I do on my Instagram. I'm not trained by any means, but I'm really, really good at reading a recipe and following it. And that's something that would make my second grade teacher proud. For when that failed me, because I did get held back. She would be very happy that I'm very good at reading now and can follow a recipe. But no, I enjoy that. You know, it's really me goofing off in the kitchen for giggles, and started it as kind of a joke, but then a lot of my friends are like, David, this is really fun and creative, you should keep doing it. So yeah.
Okay, I got you. I thought that was for real, like you was really really a chef, like that's what you really wanted to do.
No, I mean maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I'll be working with people in that way, you know, I'll be getting my bread but also giving them bread to eat. So maybe, who knows?
Definitely. So that kind of like, I don't know if you could really answer my next question or not.
Okay, wait, no, ask
We're gonna try.
Okay, yes.
Your favorite dish to make and your best dish that you make.
Ooh, okay. You know, I really like trying recipes from around the world. And I would say one of the my favorite dish to make would be lomo saltado. Have you ever had that before?
No, what is that?
Okay, so if you'll notice, when it comes to Latin food, there's different areas of, whether it be Latin America, Central America, they have different spices that they use. So, I mean, a lot of people here in the United States, they have Mexican food, amazing. I love my Mexican brothers and sisters, and their food's very spicy. But if you go to other countries like Colombia or Peru or Argentina, their food is a little bit different. So, lomo saltado is this dish from Peru, and Peruvian culture is very much influenced by Asian. They have a lot of Asian influences in it. Okay. So what lomo saltado is it's like this stir-fry steak dish where you have steak, onions, tomatoes, but then you also have French fries, and then you serve it with like some rice and a fried egg. Put that on top of the rice, and it's just like absolutely delicious. Like I would say that's that's my favorite thing to eat. As far as favorite thing to make. Because I am Colombian, one thing about us Colombian people is we can have soup no matter if it's winter, if it's summer, if it's 107 degrees outside, we'll still be eating soup. So my favorite thing to make would probably be like a big pot of sancocho, which is a Colombian like hearty soup with like yuca, which is like this I think it's called cassava in English. It's like this potato and corn, and you can do it with a variety of different meats. So yeah, that's my favorite thing to make. But yeah.
Is that also your best thing that you make?
I'm gonna sound a little conceited, Lord forgive me, but I think everything I make is the best thing I make because I make it with love. So yeah, exactly. So
okay, I like that. How did you learn to cook?
Self-taught, actually. So, a lot of people, they go to school for different things. I mean, I did get my undergrad degree in, business. So obviously, in addition to cooking, I know how to make a poster. I mean, it was a marketing major, so I guess I know how to make a poster. But definitely self-taught. YouTube videos. as well as, you know, just recipes and following the directions.
No help from mom?
No, I mean, so this is crazy, but growing up, my mom did all the cooking, and her food to this day, no matter how good I like to say that my meals are, they will never compare to that woman's cooking. It's amazing. But growing up, my dad, he didn't really like us in the kitchen, at least when I was little, because he did have a friend or a classmate of his who was severely burned, and it happened in like some type of kitchen fire. So when I was really little, he'd be like, David, like, don't be in the kitchen when your mom's cooking, don't be in the kitchen. But then as I got older and I went off to college, after those 2 years of community college, and was really on my own, and I'm like, you know, like, McDonald's is okay every once in a while, but every day, like, let's try something different. I just got into cooking and just YouTube videos, and I do still consult my mom sometimes, and I don't know if she thinks like I like have like a notebook at all times to be like, okay, David, this is how you make it, and she like lists all the ingredients and all the steps, and I'm like, Mom, I'm in the middle of driving, like, can you please just like text this? But yes, self-taught completely.
Okay. So what made you start doing the research questions that you post once a day on your story? Well, I like them though. Sometimes I can't answer them, so it's just like, if I answer, it's gonna be an in-depth answer, and you know you can only put but so much. So it's like, all right, I might skip over that, but sometimes I do tap in and answer or whatever. But what made you start that?
Oh my God, it warms my heart, Ashani, that you really are like a devoted follower. I love that. So what made me start it is I really love those games, and you can like those party games where it's like questions that you read, you know, truth or drink, or like those, you know. I tend to refrain from posting anything to, you know, intense on my stories. I do have a wide variety of followers, and I want to be appropriate by all means. But I guess I really like starting conversation and asking questions and seeing the way people think. So it kind of just started with me just posting and then seeing if anyone would answer, and then people did start answering, and I feel like it's just something that I do on the daily. You know, I have my daily devotional, but I also have my daily research question that I post to just see how people are thinking. And I never judge, like, you know, there's sometimes where I put 2 options, and I get a lot of people like you that are like, David, I can't answer it, not because I don't love you or don't want to support you, it's just like, it's hard for me to give you an answer.
Right. Okay, I like that, I really do. Okay, so what's going on with your love life? How that's going?
My love life, so Shani, I guess I think I'm a magician or something, because I'm swiping for love. I mean, I've met some really cool girls on the apps, but nothing concrete. You know, God has a plan. I don't know, I think Miss Wagdahl is out there somewhere, but I'm still looking for her. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on different dates with girls I've met on dating apps, which is great, and I can't say I've been on like a terrible date or anything bad. It's just, you know, sometimes the vibe isn't there, and that's all right. But you know,
definitely.
I'm looking.
Definitely. So, do you still believe in love, and do you still like? Are you the type that wants to get married?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of wants companionship. Like, even if they don't want to get married, they do want a life partner, someone to do life with. I think for me, because of my values and the stuff that I care about, I do really want to get married one day. And, you know, start a family. Actually, it's funny you brought this up, because I feel like whenever people ask me, David, like, what will make you happy? Like, what are your goals in life? And while I can't necessarily say that I can pinpoint a certain career I want to follow, I do have 5 goals that I've come to the realization. So I'm going to share the 5 goals with you, okay? So number 1, I want to get a master's degree, which I'm currently working towards, so that will happen. Number 2, I want to get married. You know, I want to find my wife, fall in love, get married, have that life, live with her till death do us part. Thirdly, I want to buy a home. I don't know if I can do that here in Maryland because it's really expensive. Maybe I might need to move to like Idaho or something, but I definitely want to be a homeowner. Fourth, I want to have children. So, you know, when I get married, I want to have children. And I also come to the realization, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, I want to have my own biological children. And if I'm not fortunate enough to be given that, you know, opportunity, then I don't want kids, I don't need them. But as I've grown and matured a lot, both you know, both from a career standpoint, but also from like a faith standpoint, I've come to the realization that I really want to be a father. And even if I can't biologically have kids, I definitely want to like adopt or you know, do something like that, because I really, really, really want to be a dad, because it gives me so much joy to be around my nieces and nephews, and just I think children are a blessing in themselves. So I have those four. Now my ADHD is like getting the best of me to remember the last one. So it was get married, have children, buy a home, get a master's degree, and lastly, I want to make 6 figures at some point in my life. So yes, hopefully that master's degree will open that door. But yes, I don't need to be a millionaire as much as, you know, people like money is an important thing. I don't need to be a millionaire, make millions of dollars. You know, God wants that. I'm not opposed to it. But I think I just, you know, if I can make 6 figures, which I think is a comfortable salary to be able to do all those other goals that I want to, then yeah. So.
Okay, I like that. What are your current 3 top priorities?
Priorities. Is there a certain area of life that you're talking to when you say priorities?
Just in general.
I would say my priorities are career. So, you know, making sure that I'm focused on my career, taking steps to grow in that field. Secondly, I would say my next priority would be hobbies. You know, I am very creative. I do like cooking and posting that, but also like working out, making sure I'm putting, you know, that area of my life also as a priority. And then lastly, I would say fellowship. Because I am someone who lives here completely alone and I don't have any immediate family in the area, a priority of mine to make this place a home and make it some place that I can make a home is by making sure I make time to link up with friends, making sure I make time to make new friends, you know, like us, you know, and also making sure that I make time to just be there for those that need me. That way they can know that they have someone to count on.
Okay, I like that. That's real nice. The 3 top favorite artists. This is the last question. We're gonna end it like this.
Okay, 3 top favorite like music artists. That's hard. So if I had to think of someone that I want to see before I pass away, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars, I love him. He's amazing. He's such a performer. I would love to see him in concert, in person. Also, this kind of goes with Bruno Mars because I feel like Bruno Mars is like the Michael Jackson of our generation. So I would say Michael Jackson is another top artist of mine. Yeah, you know, he was definitely a legend, definitely changed music, made something new. And then lastly, she's not Colombian, but someone that will always be near and dear to my heart, and maybe probably like one of my first celebrity crushes, Selena, the Mexican one.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her music. Wow, like to this day, like sing to me. Wow. Yes, that would probably be my last one.
Okay. I like that. I like your energy. I like you overall. Like, you are truly funny. Like, yes, I'm glad that you came. I'm glad that you were here, that you showed up. Especially with that long drive. I did not know it was that long. Like, you left at like what?
9:30.
I was like, whoa. Do you know we're filming at 11?
Yeah.
She was like, it's the drive. I was like, oh.
I told Ashani, I said, you know, I'm Hispanic, but I'm trying to defy the statistics. I'm not trying to be late. I'm going to be there on time. So, yes.
Right.
But no, it's awesome. You know, super great meeting you, Ashani. A lot of people say, they're like, David, I see you on Instagram, and I always wonder if, like, in real life you're like that. Like, yeah, what you see is what you're going to get. So yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to say? Any advice for people? Just anything.
So for a lot of people that may be in a similar stage in life like we are, where you're in your mid-20s, kind of trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, I just want to say, don't be afraid to take risks. I moved across the country to a city where I didn't know anyone, and because I took that risk, I not only grew in my career, but also built a community, which has really had a positive impact on my life. So yeah, when you're in your 20s, you don't need to have it all figured out. What I will say is, as much as you don't need to have it all figured out, don't be afraid to take risks, because it'll work out in the end.
Yes, I like that, and I agree with everything he just said. So, with that being said, listen to that advice, follow him on all his platforms that he mentioned, and thank you again for coming. I'm so grateful. And that's another episode of Ashani's podcast, and we are out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was really good.